Far Cry 6's upcoming Villains DLC, hands down, is going to be one of the best Far Cry DLC of all time, giving you the opportunity to take the roles of the most iconic villains in the series, Voss, Pagan Min, and Joseph Seed. Through each DLC installment, you'll be given an episode to go through and complete, unlocking pieces of each villain's story along the way. The details of these stories aren't clear yet, but the gameplay's been talked about, and I think what we've learned so far is incredibly exciting. Far Cry 6's main campaign is going to be focused on the conflict between the local dictator Antón Castillo, played by Giancarlo Esposito, against the Libertad, a revolution pitted against him, where you will play a pivotal role in changing Yara's fate as Dani Rojas. The story is not a continuation of the plot we saw in Far Cry 5 or New Dawn, so no nukes this time unless the end of the game has some really bonkers plot twist. And kinda like the DLC in Far Cry 5, 6's DLC won't have anything to do with the main campaign itself, but instead serve as a fresh way of playing and enjoying the game again. Throughout the Villains DLC, you'll see each character released episodically, starting with Voss, then Pagan later, and then Joseph to presumably round off the DLC, at least for that season. We don't know yet if there's anything planned after the Villains DLC, but if there's any word on that, I'm sure we'll find out eventually. The DLC is set inside of the minds of each character, and will feature locations from Far Cry 3, Far Cry 4, and Far Cry 5. But the real crazy thing here is, this game is going to be a roguelike. Which I think is super awesome. Back when the Season Pass was first announced, I was stoked and hoped that we would have really beefy DLCs that we could just spend hours in. And what better than a roguelike game with borderline endless replayability? If done right, of course. The official website says each DLC will see you getting stronger the longer you survive by unlocking perks and finding new weapons. Each time you die, you'll start over from scratch and use the knowledge you've gained to push further into the villain's psyche. Like, dude, the way it's worded too, we might have some really difficult DLC in store for us. With death being an integral part of the whole idea of pushing further into the villain's psyche, there's probably going to be a myriad of reasons why we'll be dying throughout this. But again, if it's done right, this could potentially be hella fun to keep trying at and getting further until you reach some sort of a ending to the story arc. But again, if it's full-on roguelite, that story ending won't be the end of your gameplay. Honestly, the more I think about it, the better it seems for the DLC to be oh jeez. Slapping everything off my table here. Honestly, the more I think about it, the better it seems for the DLC to be roguelite, offering tons of progression, replayability, probably Easter eggs and nostalgic bits to go through, and all of that plus Far Cry 6's really unique weapon system. It's gonna be a banger, hands down. So I think a really good comparison to what this DLC is going to shape up like is 2017's Prey Mooncrash DLC. For those who haven't played it yet, Mooncrash sees you taking the role of a hacker who goes through repeated simulations in a moon base through the eyes of 5 different playable characters. Each time you boot up a simulation, you'll uncover more of the story through small mission objectives and greater story missions. Running through the simulation, you'll probably die a bunch as you try to escape and accomplish the goals. And also fight that dang moon shark. But each time you die or succeed, you'll return to the simulation stronger, picking up crafting schematics and unlocking skills, and come the end of Mooncrash, you'll be flying through slimy tentacle aliens like a hot anime knife through butter. Really, it was a fantastic DLC. It had crazy replayability, and as you unlock each piece of the plot, you really feel like you earn it because of the live, die, repeat approach. And this is why I'm so stoked on this Villains DLC for Far Cry. If we get a replayable, fun plot that you earn through challenging but rewarding gameplay to uncover more story about some of the best villains in gaming, dude, I'm all in. Now, when we go through Far Cry's DLC, we obviously won't be unlocking psychic powers, but I figure we'll get our own unique skill trees with some carryover. We know we'll have unique takedowns for each villain, so probably we'll be able to unlock multi-takedowns and above and below takedowns. Then we could expect some more gamey-like skills, more ammo capacity, more health or healing, that sort of stuff. And maybe we'll see some more specific skills for each character related back to their own game. This could be a stretch, but seeing some skills to play off of like Voss's insanity, Pagan Min's charisma, and Joseph's kind of prophetic stuff would be really sick. Also, throughout each episode, we might see some classic signature weapons return from the series. Or we might see the weapons have their own specific, unique weapons. But I think it'd be nice to see some classics return. I could just totally picture Voss using the Shredder, or Joseph using the shovel launcher. Honestly though, I just can't wait to learn more about what's in store for us with this DLC. But what I also want to know is, do you guys have a favorite villain that you're really looking forward to? I can't help myself but be most stoked for Voss. I think he's going to be the most interesting character to see fleshed out here. With Joseph and Pagan, they were both like the pivotal bad guys of their respective games, so they had tons of story and character detail explained through the games. But with Voss, since he was paired with Hoyt and Far Cry 3 as like a duo bad guy kind of thing, we only really learn bits and pieces about him. Like Citra being his sister and his general mental instability. But we don't learn why or how specifically he got that way. Whereas with Joseph and Pagan, we get pretty fleshed out details on everything that leads up to their actions in each game. So, safe to say, I'm counting down the days to Far Cry 6's launch date on October 7th, and after that, I'll be waiting for the launch of this DLC. Hopefully you dudes are stoked for this game and its season pass stuff too. Cheers, and I will catch you all in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and peace out, my dudes.